Okay, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Energized show. Here with main man Roscoe and BDK, Kiefer Crosbie.
What's up, boys? All right, what's up, boys?
How's the form? You well?
I'm very well, yeah, very well.
How's Cork treating you? Is it as good as Dublin?
It's not as good as Dublin, but it's good, yeah. None as good as Dublin, but it's really good, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great day out down here, isn't it? Like, people get to meet people that they've been following for ages.
Nah, do you know what? The energy's tops in the room, in fairness. I'm at the down a meet and greet there in the cage, and everybody's just on top form. Everyone's just fucking happy to see me. I'm happy to see them, and yeah, it's going really well. So.
How's that make you feel?
Grateful, yeah. I'm just, it's mad. I'm still getting used to the fact that people are coming up and fucking, like we were saying upstairs, like there's men coming up and they're like trembling and they're hugging me and telling me they love me, and I'm just like, what? This is a mad house. I just fight people in a cage, you know what I mean? I'm not bleeding that special, but it's humbling, and I'm very grateful that people would go out our way to actually show support, come here and support what we do. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I've grew up supporting fighting, and now it's coming back to me nearly in a way. Do you know what I mean? That people are supporting me on my rise to the top. So I'm very, very grateful for everybody that's come out. To be honest, every single person.
Yeah. I do think that's something that's very evident with the Irish. We do support our own, and I know a lot of fighters say, "Oh, they're dying to come over to Ireland to fight," but I think they don't realise that if you're not Irish, you don't get that pop when you come out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And when you came out in Bellator Dublin, you were the people's main event there. You know what I mean? I think you even said to myself afterwards, it doesn't matter where you are on the card, that's the main event. Do you feel like you're always the main event?
I think so, yeah. Look, it's everyone always makes this big ordeal of where I'm going to be on the card. You should be up here, you should be down there. And I always say to people, it actually doesn't matter. Like, you can put me on the first fight night, everybody's going to be on their feet, everyone's going to be buzzing. Yeah. I'm going to blow the roof off the place more than anyone. And I like to call myself the main attraction more so than the main event. So I don't really care where you put me. And it was weird because last week, it actually paid me dividends, because when I went backstage, I'm not going to say the arena died down, but a lot of people left. And afterwards, everyone said to me, it just showed that after I fought, people were like, all right, we're kind of done here now. Yeah. A little bit, and I was like, it died down a little bit. And I think that just showed again where, maybe I should be the main event. But if they don't want to put me as the main event, I don't care, to be honest. I'm just going to still do what I do. So.
Was there any talks of that you could have possibly been the headliner as well? Because a lot of people were because once the couple of lads fell off, Peter Cree fell off, James fell off, then myself and Ross were like, who are they going to make main event? And then they picked Leah. But we were like, there is, you were obviously in contention.
I think it was obvious that everyone was going to go, Kiefer's the main event now. But I think just the way it worked out was that, they put a spin on it with the female fight being a main event, and Leah, obviously, I'm a big fan of Leah, do you know what I mean? And I really like Leah. I have nothing but respect for her. I think she's brilliant, and I respect the fact that she's like a mother to a young girl, and she's comes up to Dublin 4 or 5 times a week, drops her kid to school, I love all that, you know what I mean? That story to me is like a brilliant story, and I think that's what they went to at that time. But me going, it's obvious, Kiefer's going to be the main event, but as I said, I'm on the card, and that's good enough for everyone. That's I think, regardless if I'm the top of the bill, middle, it doesn't matter.
And you won.
I always win.
Which is most important.
I always win.
But I suppose you can look at
I either win or I get disqualified. So, whichever. I'm that good, that the only loss is to myself. So there you go. So.
Well, I suppose you have to look at it this way as well, that you were actually on the Bellator 240 card. So you went out on the Paramount out in the States. So it sort of gives you that bit more eyes across the pond, which is always great for the career going forward. You know what I mean? So I suppose you were the co-main event on that card. So maybe they were like, you know what, Kiefer's good for the future, so we'll show him to the American audience. I suppose I don't know if Leah's fight was shown on American TV.
Well, no, that's exactly what they're doing. To be honest, they're trying to build me in America, and my brand gets bigger over there, it gets bigger everywhere, right? So if you make it, obviously, I'm probably one of the biggest names in Irish MMA now, and that's great and all, but you really want to increase your brand, you have to go to America, right? You have to go all around the world, and I think that's exactly what they're trying to do with me, and hopefully my next fight is going to be in America in a big stadium like MSG or Boston or somewhere like that, you know what I mean? And then back to Dublin then at the end of the year, or somewhere else in Europe.
How does that conversation start with Bellator being like, right, I want to be in MSG, I want to be in all these different places?
I walk up to them and I go, I'm going to be in MSG, and they go, right, no problem, Big Daddy, whatever you want, Big Daddy, and I go, thanks.
I don't think I'd argue with you either.
I think it's you know what, being Irish as well, going to either MSG or Boston or something like that, it's like, it's common sense. You know what I mean? It makes sense to have me there. I'm such a big name here. For me to carry that Dublin and that Irish flag in MSG would be unbelievable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. By the way, you changed your entrance music there the other day, didn't you?
Maniac 2000, Mark McCabe.
Yeah. But did you know
it was a bit of a flop, to be honest, because the sound system was broke.
We were saying that as well.
Yeah, it was the sound engineer blading. Everyone's walking music was a bit brutal, to be honest.
I was actually saying that, like, they hired up the volume when it didn't need to be hired up, and it wasn't high enough when it needed to be high enough. And then we were sitting in media row, and like the speaker kept on like muffling beside us in the middle of the fights, and I was like,
all you have to do is put the fader down.
I know. But like, look,
the sound man needs to be replaced.
I think everyone was just locked at that stage anyway, so they were like, whatever, just on their feet singing songs. It was all good. It was all good.
Yeah, and I think people, when they go to Bellator Dublin now, like there's like your walkout, and then there's like James's walkout, and then Peter Quealy with Zombie, and like people are almost like as excited for the walkouts and the tunes, because like you say, the Irish fans love to get behind our fighters, and like it must be so intimidating for Tato when he came out and then saw that. Like, it
wasn't actually, to be honest. He was just stone cold, to be honest. Even like that clip Bellator put up the other day of me backstage, like he was here. Do you know what I mean? And I was speaking to him, and I was like, I normally do speak to me opponents backstage anyways. It's just get into a mad zone of I'm about to fight a man. Do you know what I mean? So it's like whatever, and he was just there, and he was just staring straight at me with no emotion. And even walking out, he had a big smile on his face. He didn't get fazed by the crowd. None of that fazed him. You know, he comes from a tough gym and a tough background. You seen the shape he was in. He was ready to fight and ready to kill, and I don't think any of that even bothered him. Plus, he didn't speak English. It didn't work out in my favour that I was speaking to him, because he didn't understand what I was saying anyway. So.
And what were you saying to him?
I can't even remember, to be honest. Mad shit. Yeah, I won't repeat it now.
I assume you're telling me you're going to kill him, and the likes along those lines.
Maybe along the lines of that.
Yeah. Do you find that works, that you get into your opponent's head when you talk that?
No, I'm not even. I just be myself. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm about to fight. Do you know what I mean? And that's just the way I fight. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's not emotional on my end or anything. I'm just being myself, and whatever I feel in the moment. If I see him, he's staring at me. I don't know. Whatever happens. You know.
And is there a feeling of fear when you go into that cage for yourself? Yeah.
Of course, mate. I'm fighting for my life here. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to get beat. I don't want to get humiliated. I don't want to get clipped. You can name any great fighter, do you know what I mean? And like Tyson was clipped, you know, Ali was clipped, like, you know what I mean? George was clipped. Loads of great fighters were clipped and hurt, and I'm not going to say, I'm just above all them. I have the ability to be knocked out, and if I'm not afraid, that's when I'll get afraid. That fear keeps me alive, you know what I mean? That fear keeps me sharp, and that fear keeps my defensive mechanism switched on. And you see people going in, and after they lose, they say, I just wasn't nervous this time. I was a bit lazy. I was a bit, I didn't really, I do get nervous. I do get that fear, but that fear keeps me alive and keeps me sharp, and it's almost a positive, you know what I mean? People always say they associate fear with a bad thing, like a negative term, but I actually think if I'm not afraid, I'm afraid. Do you know what I mean?
Would you say you're more or less because like you have a family now as well, or when you're starting
none of that comes into it. No, that's all done. Do you know what I mean? This is it's like going to work. You know what I mean? You can't think of your family when you're doing your 9-to-5 job, right, all the time. You collect the bill and you're going home, but in a fight, I'm not just thinking of my family all the time, right? I'm training in the gym, I'm pushing myself, I'm making weight. Obviously my family's in the back of my head, but when it's one-on-one with another man, it's a job at the end of the day. It's a fight, and I have to just get in there and fight and figure out a way to win, and there's no emotion, there's nothing else other than strategy, win, and that's it, and stay safe, you know what I mean?
Like, obviously you're one of the most known Irish fighters here, like, but not many people know where you actually where it all came from. Like, how did you first? You were into kickboxing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you started doing MMA. Like, how did that all come about?
Well, I started doing like kickboxing and like points fighting and like karate and stuff years ago when I was a kid. And
how did that begin?
Well, where I come from, like, would be like a pretty rough enough area. Do you know what I mean? And
where exactly is that? I know it's
the north inner city of Dublin. Do you know what I mean? So around Dublin 7, around like Smithfield area, Church Street, Greek Street flats, that kind of area.
I worked there. It's great.
Yeah, it's a great. It's better now than it was when I was growing up. So you up to D7. My brother-in-law and all's here down here. He's from up the road as well. D7 representing. But again, it would have been like a rough enough area, and if you didn't know how to fight, you're gonna find it the hard way kind of job. And I would have been in a lot of like fights and confrontation. There would have been always a lot of tension around the area, and you'd be afraid to walk up to the shop on your own, or you'd be always just afraid that something's gonna pop off anytime.
Yeah. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have an older brother. Yeah.
You have an older brother. Yeah. Was he into it as well?
No, not really. No.
Alright, so you got into the kickboxing anyway.
Mainly, and then I just joined the closest gym to my house, which was like a 5-minute walk up the road. Yeah. Joined down as a kid, and then I started competing straight away. Do you know what I mean? Within about under a year, in points fighting. Yeah. That was the first thing I started competing in. I got hooked on it. I loved the competition. I loved everything about it. And then I just kept kickboxing for years, and I got hooked.
And did you get in these street fights then when you were doing your points fighting?
Loads,
I'm sure people you were ending those fights a lot faster than you used to.
Yeah. I wasn't points fighting on the street fight that way, but yeah, no, unfortunately, yeah.
And then how did you come across like SBG and training under John?
Well, I started doing obviously I kickboxed all the way up till I was about 18.
Yeah.
And then I done the World Championships and I lost. And there was a lot of politics in kickboxing, you know what I mean? So
I've heard.
If you weren't the favourite, you'd probably just end up losing, do you know what I mean, on the scorecards. And I was fighting an English lad, and there was 4 English judges and an English referee, and I was just thinking, before I even went out, thinking, how am I going to win this fight, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in kickboxing, head guards and gloves and all that kind of stuff, and it was actually a full contact fight, and I won the fight, hands down, and I lost the decision. And even my opponent came up and was like, man, you won that fight. And that was the World Championships. It meant so much to me. And after that, I just lost heart in it. I was like, this is stupid, this sport. You know, you put so much into it, so much training, money, effort, and then you lose on a decision that's corrupt. And I'm up on the podium getting a bronze medal, and he's getting a gold medal. And it's just like, what is this all about?
He's like that.
And he even admitted it to me. His coaches were like, it was a robbery, you know. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to go into a sport where finishing people is more like easier to do. You know, there's more options. I can choke them, submit them. Them smaller gloves, I always had in my head, if I hit someone with them smaller gloves, I just don't think they'll be able to stand there with me or something. So I put my mind on that then, and then I just got obsessed with learning new arts of how to fight and grapple. I never respected grappling before I grappled.
Yeah.
I always thought like no one would be able to take me down. Do you know what I mean? Why are they gonna just drag me to the floor? Hardly.
Yeah, that's what. And
then I bleed and grapple someone who's about 60 kilos and they're strangling me.
We previously had Cian Cowley on the show as well, and he said that. He said like he thought he was going to transition very easily, and then once he started doing the grappling with Lee, obviously he was like, it's a whole different game.
You have to grapple to understand. Do you know what I mean?
100%. I've done a few BJJ classes, and like, you get put into a pretzel and you just start laughing. I just started laughing. I was like, oh my god, like I'm so vulnerable. And like you just think like I'm a big guy, like I should be able to like that fella's not going to be able to take me out. And then I get turned into a pretzel, and then you're just like, oh shit, it's like that fella could actually kill me if he wanted to, and there's nothing I can do about it.
It's like there's levels to everything, do you know what I mean? So like there's always going to be someone better than you, especially at jiu-jitsu.
Lee Hammond's doing great at the moment.
He rang me there only about 15 minutes ago. He's in the finals now in the ADCCs. He beat 3 people today, 2 black belts, submitted 2 black belts today in the ADCCs in Amsterdam, and he's in the finals right now as we speak against a high level black belt again. And he's gone over there on his own, off his own back. He's a beast, that lad. Lee Hammond is a name that, remember the name, because in a few years you're going to be like, fuck, he just blew out of nowhere, do you know what I mean?
Do you feel like because SBG Ireland is like just so well known for having jiu-jitsu practitioners, did that bring you on very fast? Did you learn very quick? Yeah,
it was funny because like my first MMA fight, I was in the kickboxing gym. I wasn't in SBG, and I learned how to do jiu-jitsu on YouTube. I used to type in, I used to type.
Who were you watching?
It wasn't even YouTube actually.
Was it him?
No, it was what was the name of it? Fucking not 10th Planet. It was some website. It wasn't even jiu-jitsu.
It was like a Gracie sort of breakdown?
No, it wasn't. It was more like Eddie Bravo stuff, believe it or not. But not Eddie Bravo, it was a rubber gardener. So I learned how to do jiu-jitsu on the internet, basically. And I'd learn a move, and then I'd go practice it on whoever was in the gym, and he wouldn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to learn as much as I could. Had my first fight, and my first MMA fight, I thought I was going to just kickbox. I ended up taking him down and armbarring him. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just winging it.
Was that Battle Zone?
No, it was in England, actually. It was in Newcastle against a Newcastle lad. It was a set-up fight. They sent me up to Lewis, and I went over and ended up winning. It was one of them jobs. It's on YouTube, actually. Check it out. It's mad.
Yeah.
I'm about like 80 and 90 and in a little fat belly on me and all. At middleweight, it was mad. Eating Burger King the day before the fight and all. Eating lasagna the day of the fight.
Getting the carbs and protein in.
That's what I thought, carb load.
Man, I used to
drinking bottles of Coke, eating chocolate and all. Yeah, man.
You're working with Tyler Minton now, aren't you?
No. Tristan Kennedy.
Tristan Kennedy, sorry.
Kennedy, yeah.
How's that going for you? Because you're on the way down to 155, am I right?
Yeah. Brilliant, yeah. If it wasn't for him, I just don't think I'd be able to do what I'm doing. Him and John Connery of the Irish Strength Institute, the two of them are
the red-haired fella?
Yeah,
I know him.
He's been with me a long time. He's my strength trainer and my cardio trainer, and then obviously Tristan's my nutritionist, and he comes out and cooks for me the week of the fight and makes sure everything's on perfect point.
Do you tell him what you like, or is he just sort of like, here, look?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I tell him what I don't like. Basically, that's easier to do. Do you know what I mean? And then he just gives me.
What don't you like?
You know what I mean? If I had my way, I'd just eat bleeding burgers and chips all the time. No,
that's what I do.
I'd eat anything, to be honest, if I'm on weight. You know what I mean? Once I make the weight, I don't care what he puts in front of me. And all of his food is top of the range. So.
Joe, it's class following this sort of stuff. The way they're like everything is down to the last gram. It's just so on point, so professional. Obviously, it is a professional sport, but like the way that everyone's treating it, it's like something to be admired. You know.
Yeah, well, not everyone treats it like that. Do you know what I mean? Again, as I said up there on the speech earlier. Do you know, like everyone comes into this and does their own thing, right? And that's fine. But the ones that are the most disciplined are the ones that end up on top, and that's it. And the rest get filtered out along the way. And you see a few people win a few fights, and that's it. They think they've made it, or they win a few quid, and that's it. And they think they. No, you haven't. Do you know what I mean? It's not over until it's over, until you walk away from the sport. And you see that a lot with top tier fighters. They fall off. It's because they're getting too comfortable with the lifestyle they have now, or they're getting too lazy, or they're, I'm going to move up a weight class, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to... And you're like, you just lost that discipline that you had at the start when you had nothing. Do you know what I mean? And right now, I think it's important to keep that. And even though I'm doing well in Bellator, I'm still going to have the frame of mind that I'm nothing and I have nothing and I'm broke, and I'm going to keep that in my head, because you can get caught up in like, oh, I've money now. I don't have to fucking diet anymore. I don't have to wake up early and train. I'll go to the gym late. I'll only do one session a day. And you see people doing that and then they lose. And I don't want to ever be that fighter.
Do you think that'll be hard to keep that like level head, because like so many people are like praising you all the time that it can be easy to maybe get caught up in it a bit?
I never get caught up in it, to be honest. I've said it a million times. There's nothing special about me, and I'll say that until the day I die. I don't. I'm human. You're human. I'm only better at everybody at fighting. That's it. Everything else, we're all good. You're probably better than me at everything else. But if you want to have a fight off me, you'll probably lose. That's it. But I'm equal to everyone else. You know what I mean? And I think people just put athletes and fighters on a pedestal. And that's like footballers and fucking, I've seen, and they're blowing these people up because they're famous or whatever.
Sure, you've a mural back in Dublin that people don't know. By Subset,
wasn't it? Murals and all going around the streets.
I remember I said that to you before, and I was like, I know. You're like, I better not catch anyone pissing on that.
If I catch anyone pissing on that wall, I swear to God, man. Just go down there and guard it with my life every day. I think the corpo actually ripped that building down, believe it or not.
Did they? Yeah.
He said I was too ugly for the building, so they just ripped the whole bleeding thing down. So I'll have to get another one up soon.
I know, I think you're a handsome fella. Come here to me, what's called, obviously you grew up and there was like, fighting on the brain, but was there any other sport that you were interested in, or did you have any, sporting heroes when you were growing up?
No, Mike Tyson would have been the only one that was my idol when I was a kid. I remember being like I can't remember how old I was, very young, and I remember he was on the telly, and I remember I just froze and me sitting around looking at the telly thinking, this is a movie, this isn't real. It was like a highlight clip of him just sparking people and people dropping, and the Trevor Berbick knockout, and the guy just kept falling down, and I was like, this isn't real. Do you know what I mean? This is obviously fake or staged, like the WWF. And then obviously when I found out it was real, I was like, I was like, fuck, he's the most incredible fighter I've ever seen. And back then obviously he was, you know what I mean? He was the most feared man in the world. And then obviously I got into his philosophy and learned about more customado and the mentality, and I liked the way he trained. He was so intense, and so it wasn't about winning the fights on scorecards or anything like that. It was about, no, I'm going to get him out there now, do you know what I mean? As soon as it starts, we're fighting. It's not like pick your shots and move around. And if you went past the second round, everyone was nearly like, oh, that's weird, And that was my mentality at the start. And I like to kind of apply the same to the sport I'm doing.
Well, it just goes to show with Tyson that, there's no room in the game for complacency. He ended up getting complacent. He ended up being distracted. He was very badly guided, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like having that level head is like very, very important, you know what I mean? Yeah. And what's called, I can sort of see it in yourself, like you don't like to let it go to the judges' scorecards, you know what I mean? You like to get it done inside there. I know you were like actually apologised that I went to the judges' scorecard.
I know, at the end I said upstairs as well, fighting is harder than it looks, and the people may look and say, oh, it looks hard, man, it's harder than that. I'm in there literally trying to get this bloke out there. I had your man's back last week and I was convinced this is done now, but he was actually very good, and it's like it's difficult to finish these people all the time, and he had his attributes. He was good at hitting me and moving around and defending the neck, and he had no bleeding neck to choke. I said that a few weeks ago on Instagram, and again, I went to the judges and I didn't want it to go to the judges. I wanted a first round knockout, and sometimes it just doesn't go that way, but look, getting the hand raised is the most important thing about fighting. Winning is everything in fighting.
Was there any doubt when they were calling it scorecards? So you won it?
No, but the only doubt was that we were upstairs in the locker room. In my opinion, Richie Smullen won his fight, and then the decision went against him, and we were all like, "What? Like the hell? What are the judges thinking?" And the only doubt in my mind was like, imagine the judges do this now. Do you know what I mean? Again, like they're going to give him the. But I actually think, watching the fight back a few times, I won the 3 rounds. They gave it a split, but it was a 3 round.
Joe was actually really funny about that. Are you going to say the same thing?
Crosbie.
George Crosbie.
I was like, Judge, everyone's going to think this is corrupt. And he actually went against me. I was like, well, maybe he went against me instead of for me, because people would say, that's his brother.
No, that happened last time as well, didn't he? Crosbie was there.
No. That's my only ever split decision. Yeah. But he's Crosbie with a Y, I'm Crosbie with an IE, so we're not actually, it's alright.
But Douglas Crosbie was as judge like a million fights. So like it actually
he's a legit lad,
it actually sort of
Kiefer
breaks your heart though.
Crosbies.
Yeah, but it sort of breaks your heart that like you know what I mean he's judged a million fights and then like still you know he gets it wrong. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like judging and fighting is something that like really needs to be looked at.
Funny enough, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not, but I think he made a mistake. Because there was an email sent. I actually think the MC called it out the other way around by mistake. He didn't give the round to him. He actually gave the round to me afterwards. But the MC called it out wrong. So when he went to the scorecards, it was actually the MC that announced it wrong. Do you understand?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it wasn't actually like...
So it was 29-28 unanimous decision.
Second, I think that was a mistake on the scorecard. Now, I only found that out, what days did I start? I only found like Friday or Thursday or something like that. But look, it's...
At the end of the day, you won.
My hand was raised, I don't care. I really don't care, do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, by any means, win. That's it. I'd rather win a bad decision than lose a good one, you know what I mean? And, I mean, look at Smullen, he won that fight. He won that fight, and then he lost.
That wasn't a great night for
what are you supposed to do with that? Like, so, but whatever,
The thing is about the sport now as well, not only do you have to be, like, it's more than just fighting or just winning. You have to do it in style. You also have to be able to do everything off the mic. And I feel like a lot of lads like yourself are actually doing a really good job.
Yeah.
Like, what sort of feedback are you getting from the way you're actually like walking the walk, talking the talk, and delivering on the biggest stage?
I'm literally just being myself, and I don't believe in trying to be out now. Like, I don't get me wrong. Look, people are doing like I know, like they see like Kobe Covington and all these donkeys, man, and they're acting like idiots, and they're trying to make a name for themselves and. They're more interested in attention, and that's fine, that's grand, but like at the end of the day when he's retired, people are going to look back at his legacy and his career and be like, he was a donut, that lad. He's not funny, he's cringy, and that's fine. If you want to be remembered like that, do your thing, respect, fair play to you, but I think you should just be yourself and that's it. And then, but if they like it, cool. If they don't like it, cool. You know what I mean? I don't care. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just being.
So you're going to put all the 155 pounders on blast now, on notice down in Bellator. Is there anyone who you particularly want to get your hands on?
Soren back. I said last week he's a 15-1 former world champion with a different organisation. I went to the fight in London. He fought Terry Brazier. I used to chase the Terry Brazier fight back in the day in Bama, just because he had the belts and. That's the only reason I really wanted to fight him is he had the two belts. But right now, like, and I've met Terry a few times since, and he's a gent. You know what I mean? And it's hard not to like him. He's actually sound, and I've talked to him loads of times, and I actually think he's a decent lad. He's a nice bloke. And but when I went to that fight, I thought he was going to win, and then he didn't. Your man sort of dominated, and it was a boring fight. He just held him down, did fuck all, and I was sitting there caged, kind of frustrated, thinking like I'd love to just smack him around, just because he was so like. He just wrestle fucked him the whole round, and I don't like fighters that do that. Like, wrestling is a beautiful sport, but when you're just holding someone down and doing nothing, that's not a fight.
That was like the Aaron Chalmers fight.
It's not a fight. It's not a fight. It's ridiculous carry on. Do you know what I mean? I don't get me wrong, I love wrestling. If you're holding a man down for 15 minutes and you're happy about that, do wrestling. Fuck off and do a different sport. You have to fight some sort of way, do you know what I mean? Whether it's advanced to a position or ground and pound or something, you know what I mean? So, but that's a fight, and again, that's a legit fight. He's 15-1. He hasn't been beaten in years. He held a world title in a different organisation, and that's the.
I like the way you're not mentioning the organisation as well.
Well,
that's a loyal employee.
You're Bellator. They're paying me. They're paying me too well to say anything else.
Don't please mention that.
I don't want to say anything.
What about Miles Price? Would you be interested in that fight?
Who? Who? That English lad?
Yeah, the English lad.
No, I'm not into that fight at all. No, I don't. I think he's done.
Yeah,
he's dead.
He hasn't been back in the card.
He's nothing.
No, I don't think so.
Come here. I need to ask you. Right, you're now aiming for 155 pounds. Yeah. Like, how meticulous are you gonna have to be with your diet hitting that? Because I know you hit 159 there, didn't you?
With the diet?
Yeah. How, what on a scale of 1 to 100? How exactly do you have to?
My man's had to be over there going, here, if you want any crepes out on the stand with the Nutella, I just have to relax and all that grub, and then for a while, not get blow up too much.
It won't be overly difficult now.
No, I don't know. The last time was all right, to be honest. I think.
Because you were looking fresh enough, and you said during the week.
It was all right. Look, it's hard. It's always hard. But I've never missed weight, ever. I've never missed weight. I've never even gone down to the scales, checked it and missed it and gone back. Like, I've always made weight, always. And I always think it's just more of a mindset thing that I was afraid to go from 170 to 155 the first time because I was thinking, I don't know how my body's going to react to this. Yeah. But last week, I did like a very easy cut and I made 159. And I was like, Jay, that was grand. I walked down to the scales and my nutritionist was happy. He actually said I could make 145.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Oh, you said that on stage.
He said that to me. He's like, I could get you to 145, and I was like, I don't know about that now. Featherweight.
You're like, those crepes look all right. Like,
but 155, I reckon, definitely the next time. Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And how do you feel like you match up against Pitbull?
Yeah, I think he's good. Everyone's good, but I don't think he's that good. Again, people put these people on a pedestal, and his name and his this and his that.
But he is the champ.
Oh, he's the champ, whatever. Everyone's the champ for a minute, and then someone else is the champ, and Pedro's going to be him. Watch. Pedro's going to be him. You'll see that in a few weeks.
We wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah,
as well.
Pedro is 100% going to be him. That man is an absolute nightmare, I'm telling you now. It's funny because, like, again, he comes onto the scene and people's like, who's this guy? And it's only because we know him from the gym and his work ethic and we see it. People don't respect it. But then he's been on a winning streak. And now he's fighting the champion.
Yeah,
and
Portuguese
it's like,
Paddy.
and people are still doubting him, saying, who is he though? It doesn't matter if you know who he is or not. You waiting to see that man. He's going to be in his face from the bell until it's over. And I truly believe that Pedro is going to smoke him and become a world champion.
That's going down March 13th
in a few
Connecticut.
weeks, man. Yeah. Big time.
That's going to be seriously
and he deserves it as well. He's one of the hardest working human beings I've ever seen. I'm on the mat with him every day, man, and the work he puts into the gym is next to none. Honest to God, he's a grafter. Yeah.
What's the buzz like in SBG now at the moment? Like, just things are really blowing up. Like, obviously Connor's back in the scene. Like, I mean, you got the Monster, the new gym. Like, what's it like going in every day now?
Brilliant. Yeah. Like, I mean, from the SBG we come from, the little mat. Do you know what I mean? With like. Yeah. Cold showers and damp and no heating to what we are in now. We're in a facility where there's like 2 floors, about 8 training rooms, sauna, there's dorms, there's beds, there's fucking, you know what I mean? You get lost in the place nearly. So I'm just very grateful for that. And obviously the team's at the ground as well. And there's a lot of fighters that travel over now and stay in the dorm. So every day I go into the gym, there's new bodies to learn from and train with. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant to just have so many different bodies. And obviously Connor's back now, flat out. And having him in the gym always adds to the energy of the room, do you know what I mean? And again, seeing his work ethic from what he was to what he is to where he's going to go now is great. And that just lifts us all up and helps us push. Yeah, it's great for us as well, do you know, because we're so close to it. And,
where do you see him going next? Who do you see him fighting next?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, there's so many options for him. I'd love to see him get the Khabib fight again, to be honest. And I think a fully focused Conor is unbeatable. I really think that. And I think the Khabib fight was very good, but it wasn't a dominant fight or anything. It was actually a pretty close. No. Watch the fight again. I think people watch it once and you have to rewatch it and watch the third round and watch it.
I think he won the third round, Conor, didn't he?
He 100% won the third round. But like, I think if a fully focused Conor, if the Conor shows up that Fosteroni and the last fight shows up, Khabib's done in the first.
That was an absolute mauling, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's what I'd like to see, to be honest.
Yeah, but Khabib's already lined up to fight Tony Ferguson at UFC 249.
Yeah, but I'd say,
what are you expecting from that? Because that's...
Khabib by decision, just drags him down, holds him down 5 rounds.
Yeah. All right.
He is incredible at that, isn't he? Like no one's had an answer for that. If you were to fight Khabib, what way would you try fighting?
I'd try to take his chin off his face. I wouldn't be trying to wrestle him. Again, it's a fight. I mean, you can't deny a knockout. You can't, you can wrestle and tussle and do what you want, and it can go either way. Or you can ball up your fist and try to take his head off, and if he hits the deck, then job done. Do you know? And that's the way I think when I'm going into a fight. I think that's the safest bet. You know what I mean? Is knocking someone out, and that there's no question about who won. Then that's my philosophy.
Yeah, absolutely. Kiefer, thanks a million for coming on. Thanks for the chat. Barry, do you have anything to finish off with?
No, I just want to say thanks a million for coming on.
Thanks very much.
Absolute gent. Up the dubs.
Thanks very much, mate. Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.